Hi there. You're watching the Gardens and Graveyards channel. My name is Charisma, and today we're meeting in the kitchen and we're going to make some tea. So I've shared with you a lot over the last couple of months how I keep my life really simple so that I can enjoy the things that I love the most. And that's usually gardening or wandering around cemeteries, spending time with friends and family, and just doing other things other than cooking and cleaning. So today I'm going to share with you how I keep my body nourished with good medicine and tea that I can enjoy all winter long without having to make them all the time. So what I typically do is about every 6 months, I take inventory of my tea stock and my herb stock, and if I haven't grown enough tea or herbs to make tea blends that I enjoy, then I go to my local food co-op and I buy herbs in bulk there. So my local food co-op mostly has bulk herbs from Mountain Rose Herbs, which I really love. And I will order from them directly often, but typically when I go to the food co-op and buy bulk herbs, it's when I only need like a few tablespoons or half a cup of something. So I don't really need a pound of whatever herb it is that I'm looking for. I just need a little bit. So it's not worth my time and effort to go through their website and get a pound of something. Plus, I don't always have the space for that amount of bulk herbs. My really big bulk herb selection comes from my own garden. Herbs that I have grown and dried and kept so that I can continue making blends throughout the entire year. Some herbs I just can't grow here. Some herbs I haven't gotten a big enough harvest yet. And some herbs I thought I did get enough harvest and realized, oh, this year I'm drinking a little bit more of this herb or eating more of this herb. So I know next year I want to grow more of it. So I'm going to show you what my herbal apothecary looks like, and then we're going to make a couple of tea blends. In the meantime, I'm heating up some water so I can enjoy a cup of tea while we stock up. This is a tea blend that I always have at the ready. I don't have to even put it in a tea bag because I already put it in tea bags. In particular because my family really loves this particular blend, and I just call it Kay's Floral Essence. And it's a blend of, what I do is I put a sticker on the side here and it talks about what's in each tea blend. So this has chamomile, rose hips, calendula, lavender, and holy basil flowers. And these all were grown in my garden. And when there isn't any specific amounts on my ingredient list, it means they're all equal parts. So I always have this at the ready so that anytime I have guests over or family over and they want some flower essence, it's ready to rock and roll. I'll put it in one of my favorite cups. Water's ready to go. And now I'll just let it sit there and steep for just a little while as we go through the herbs and inventory. All right, so recently we went through this cabinet and got rid of a bunch of things to make room for this side of the cabinet to be all herbs. And then this side of the cabinet, it's easier to see without the glass panel there, is all of our like pretty things. And most of it came from mine and Spencer's grandmothers. So that's on one side, and then on the other side I have bulk herbs, and at a quick glance all of that came from my garden. So let's just take a look here. I have dillweed, calendula, bee balm, and there's a jar of bee balm below it. I have bay leaves, lilac blossoms, lovage seeds, and lovage leaves. I have lemon balm and lavender, more lemon balms, oregano, golden oregano, hibiscus, rose hips, rosemary, peppermint, and thyme. And then these are the herbs that I take daily. I have magnesium citrate, vitamin C, a multivitamin, and a special blend for my candida. Up top, I have licorice leaf, white sage that I grew on my land. I have a summer blend that has Thai basil, tulsi, calendula, bee balm, and lemon balm. Let's take a look at this. It's full, so I'm not going to replenish that one. I've got some chamomile in there. Those are empty jars back there. These are actually, you could see I put the label on there. These are teas that came in a box from a store, but I like to have them look pretty, so I just cut out their label and tape it so that I can go ahead and put them in there. So then swinging around over this direction, we'll pull out the apothecary that Spencer built for me, which slides right in between the wall. Right in between the wall and that has the light switch on it and our okay, what's going on? And our refrigerator. So just pull this all the way out here like this. And we can see that these are all my herbs. So I have thyme, turmeric, cloves, pearly everlasting, lemon balm, dandelion root, pineapple sage, rose hips, yarrow, nettles, oregano, oat straw, gotu kola, ginkgo, ginger root, elderberry, elderflower, more oregano, and a rose tea blend, which has 2-part rose hips and 1-part hibiscus. This row of tea or of jars are herbal blends. So I have Achy Break, which is for sort of like arthritis or just an achy back or neck or something like that. It's a muscle relaxing tea. The dandelion and turmeric blend is an anti-inflammatory that I love. Headache tea. This is more oregano that just didn't have room. Or maybe it does. This is golden oregano. Okay, more floral essence here. Chamomile, which I need to replenish. This is Achy Break. It's almost empty, so I'm going to replenish this. The headache tea is low. I'm going to replenish this. I always make sure that this is full, so we'll fill that. The floral essence is full. The digestive aid needs to be filled. The temperature tamer, which is if you have a flu with the temperature, that's full. And then these are, what is this? Hawthorn berries. And this one is pau de arco, which these are just herbs, bulk herbs. Down here I have Holy Basil Immune Boost, which is one of my favorite tea blends. And it's pretty full, so I'm not going to worry about that. This is peppermint, pickling spice, which we're getting low, but we have enough to get us through this season. I'll probably make more in like March or April, because that's when pickling season picks up. This is marshmallow root, echinacea, dandelion. These are empty jars that I bought bulk herbs to fill. Then we have fire cider and comfrey water. Then more floral essence. I told you we do a lot of this, but I need to fill some tea bags. So I think I'll go ahead and use this big jar and fill up some tea bags. So if we have guests, they're ready to go. Chocolate mint, regular mint, and lavender flowers. So that's just bulk herbs down there. All right. So now that we have an idea of what blends that we need to make and what herbs we need to buy, we'll head over to the co-op, which I've already done, and pick up bulk herbs. I wrote a list before I did this video, so we'll just skip right over that and you get to see how the herbs look when I buy them in bulk. All right, so I have all of my bulk herbs here that came from the co-op, and they just come, well, they are in jars, and then I scoop them out and put them in these paper bags. I just put the name, and then they usually have a number associated with the jar, and that gives the cashier basically the code, so she knows how much to charge me, or the computer knows how much to charge me. So she punches in 81, and it knows how much per pound this herb is. They put it on a scale, and it rings me up. So I do that with all of my herbs. Some herbs we don't need as much of, so there's a smaller bag. I try my best to not use tape because it's just a pain to try to open it back up. If I could get away with not using tape, I do. But that being said, you do want to get it folded over because you don't want all the herbs to fall out, right? So these are all my herbs. I'm basically, the first thing that I want to do is put together my tea blends, and then anything I have left over I put in the jars with the appropriate label. All right, so the first one I'm going to get to is the digestive aid, which is 1 part chamomile, 1 part dillweed, 1 part peppermint, and I like to use chocolate mint if we have it. So what I'm going to do is gather up those herbs. I think I'll just do a quick inventory of everything I need. Dandelion, turmeric, ginger, and pepper. Holy basil, peppermint, and chamomile. It's similar. Nettles, oat tops, horsetail. It's different. And then these are bulk herbs. Bulk herbs, and then I just need tea bags for that. Okay, so let me grab what I need here. Okay. Let's see. I need start with the digest. I need chamomile, dillweed, and peppermint. So So I do try to use the oldest herb first. And because I have a limited amount of chamomile, I'm going to use the chamomile as how many parts I need. The other tool that I really love in this process is a kitchen scale. And I just put my empty bowl on it, zero it out, and then I pour this much in. And then I just, let's see, this one is, yep, 1 part chamomile, 1 part dillweed, and 1 part peppermint. So then the next thing I do is, dill is a little heavier than chamomile, so even though it looks like I put less in there, it will be the same amount of weight. So I basically just want to double the weight that I have on my scale. There's a tiny bit more, but it's fine. And now I just want the same amount of weight that I just put in there in peppermint. This one, I still have a lot of the stem in, which I don't necessarily want as much stem. You always know which jars were harvested at the end of the season because there's so many herbs to harvest that I get lazy and throw the whole stem in there instead of breaking it all up and putting it in the container. And then it makes a giant mess. The other thing with herbal teas is you don't want to crush the leaves too much because that releases all the volatile oils. And it's actually taking away my breath right now, just the little bit of crushing that I'm doing. And then when I put it in the tea bag, when I'm ready to drink it, I can kind of crunch it up a little bit and release those oils. And that's the medicine. So with the digest tea, the peppermint actually causes your bile ducts to like salivate, and that helps with digestion. It also really helps with any kind of like tummy ache. So it's nice to have a little peppermint anytime you have stomach aches. The chamomile is a very soothing herb. It calms the nervous system and it calms inflammation, and it really helps the body just sort of calm down, especially stomach aches, headaches, that kind of thing. What's the third ingredient? Dill. I don't remember what dill does. Does it make it delicious? Well, I'll have to look up what the dill does for digestion, and I'll put it up on the screen. So then I use my canning jar filler tool so that I don't make it an even bigger mess. And just kind of get it all in there. The last thing that I do is I put the newest date. So today's date I will put on there. If I remember what it is. And you'll notice that these jars are actually spaghetti sauce jars that I've sort of ripped the label off of, and then I just slapped a new label on it with the proper ingredients. All right, so that's done. That's trash. Now we'll do the achy break. Really? No, I think we'll just go ahead and finish filling up my dandelion and turmeric. And honestly, this doesn't really need measurement. It's more or less equal parts. And I'm just kind of eyeballing it in layers. And then I add pepper. You want to eat, anytime you ingest turmeric, you want to make sure that you have pepper accompanying it, because pepper is the carrier of turmeric, and it helps the body absorb what it needs from turmeric. All right. And it doesn't need to be equal parts, but there needs to be enough of it that it does carry. And then I'm gonna look for ginger. All right. So dandelion, turmeric, and ginger are all anti-inflammatories, and it really helps with any kind of inflammatory issue you might have, but it also helps with my candida a whole lot. So this particular blend I drink daily, usually in the evenings. All right, so I have my jar of turmeric. I'm just gonna add to it. Now, if I do run low, I have bulk with me. And get this out of the way. Same with the dandelion root. Oh, and the other thing I'd like to do is put the new date of the newest root in there. Especially if it's something that I might not get to quickly, that's more important. Right. Okay, so let's go ahead and All right, so then we'll go ahead and fill up the achy break, which is 2 parts nettles, 1 part oak tops, and half part horsetail. I actually have a little container in there. I'll put this back here and zero it out. Okay, so 2 part nettle, oak tops, and horsetail. Okay. Okay, well, it looks like I don't have any horsetail, so we're going to hold off on that. Yeah. We have a lot of horsetail on our property, but we've been slowly reducing how much is on the property, and now I'm noticing that I don't always have enough to cover my yearly needs. What I do need to make also, since we're here with herbs, is I need to make a nettles tincture, which is something else that I take every single day to prevent allergy reactions. So I'm getting low and it's time to make more nettle tincture. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I just take a small canning jar. I fill it with my nettles. All right, use just a little bit more. All right, so you really want that jar to be pretty full with head space. And then you just take some vodka and you fill the whole jar up. You can also use Everclear for this. Some people even use bourbon, but I've never done that. All right. So it's pretty darn full. As the herbs kind of settle over a couple of days, I might top off with some more vodka. So then I actually just put this in a dark cupboard, and every morning I shake it like this. And I do that until maybe like 6 weeks. And then I strain it out and I put it in a clean tincture jar. So that's it for tea making. Clean up my little mess here. All right, so the last thing I'm gonna do is make up a few tea bags, maybe just like 10, of the floral essence. And I just have this cute little tablespoon. And I just put 1 tablespoon in each bag. Let's go ahead and just put them right in here. Okay. The only benefit that this floral essence has, other than the individual properties, the blend really just brings me back to my garden, and it feels like a warm hug from summertime. The people who drink it might say, feels like a warm hug from me. Just get one more in there. If I make a really big batch of something like I do this floral essence, I will use these silica gel packs and make sure that it's kind of buried in there as best as I can. Because I don't want any mold issues. There we go. Okay, so these, then the whole point of putting the nettles tincture, the nettles that I covered in vodka, in a dark cupboard is because you don't want any photosynthesis to happen. You want all of the volatile oils to stay inside of that jar without breaking down and getting really infused into the vodka. And then when you strain out the herbs and you just have the vodka left, it's infused with the herb. And this particular tincture is just nettles, but there's many, many different types of tinctures that you can make. I make 2 other ones that I use on a regular basis, semi-regular basis, for cold and flu seasons. But the nettles I use every day. It helps me control my asthma. It helps me with inflammation, which is really the biggest problem with allergies, is our sinuses get inflamed, and that's the discomfort that we feel. So, yeah, that's what I take to combat that. I've been taking it for years. It works really fast, and I just take a full dropper full every morning. But if I'm having a kind of an attack, I could take more, and it's totally safe to have more. So yeah, that's it. I think the only other herbal thing that I need to make is elderberry syrup, and that's a little bit more of a process, and it's not really tea. And I do make a batch that's good enough, that's like big enough to drink daily for a month, which I tend to do in the winter months when cold and flu season is kind of rampant. But the bulk teas, I tend to do pretty much every 6 months, like right after harvest, and usually around this time of year, because I've been starting to drink a lot more tea, like October, November, and I know I'm going to be drinking a lot more tea over the next 3 months in the cold season, like the cold temperature season. I tend to want a hot cup of tea all throughout the day. So I keep saying tea. It's really an herbal infusion is what I'm actually talking about. I didn't make any proper tea blends from like a black or green tea. That's a whole different process, and I tend to just buy those teas. But what I really meant was herbal infusions, and they can be used as medicine or they can be used as comfort. But either way, I enjoy myself a delicious cup of tea, and when nobody's visiting, no one else is drinking the tea because Spencer doesn't like it. So more for me. But I like to do things in bulk and in mass so that I don't have to worry about it again and again and again and again. And this gives me opportunity, like I have all my basics covered. And if I want to try something new and unique with a different blend, I'm not overwhelmed with, oh, I need to make all the other things. I could just go and, create something new and fun to try without the overwhelm. So I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you're having a wonderful holiday season. I hope you're celebrating your life, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.